Let's be honest, the iPhone 16 isn't the newest iPhone anymore. We've got newer models, newer cameras, newer chips, and probably a whole lot of people telling you that you're wasting your time buying an older iPhone. But here's the real question. Is the iPhone 16 actually still worth buying in 2026? Well, I've been using it and today we're going to find out. What's up YouTube? Welcome back. Today we'll be talking about the iPhone 16 and whether it still makes sense in 2026. I've got an iPhone 16 here, so we'll be testing its capabilities as we go. Because if you're shopping for an iPhone right now, you've probably got a lot of choices. I mean, you've got the 16 Pro Max, you've got the 16 Pro, you've got the 17, you've got the 17 Pro, and the Pro Max. But how does the iPhone 16 compare throughout all these phones in 2026? Well, first of all, starting off, the iPhone 16 was the first entry model phone to have the action button. If you can just look at the side, to have the action button built in. So this has got the functionality of you being able to go to your settings and changing your action button to whether you want a silencer, whether you want it to be another camera button, of which it already has at the side. Let's be fair, the design is still pretty modern. I mean, who would really complain having such a phone in their hands? I mean, it's very portable. Well, for me, I've got big hands, but for an average user, it's very holdable in the hand. You can easily reach the top of your screen with one finger, except for you double texters, of course. But it's got all the functionalities that you need, because a phone being a generation older doesn't make it necessarily look old. I mean, the 17 literally looks the same. There's not really much of a difference. And if you're coming from something like an iPhone 11 or an iPhone 12, you will definitely see the difference of the design of the device. So in terms of design, it's still absolutely relevant in 2026. Now let's talk about performance. The iPhone 16, this is where Loki gets interesting. Because for an everyday task like open your Instagram, your TikTok, your WhatsApp, your YouTube, your Siri, even photography, it's really hands-on. I mean, it's got a very fast processor, and because the phone is already fast, apps open quickly, animations are smoother, and demanding games are really handled like they're nothing. And because Apple tends to support its phones for years, the iPhone 16 in 2026 doesn't mean you're going to be buying a phone very soon. I mean, this year Apple even decided that it's going to support the iPhone 11 going forward. So it's not really going to be getting rid of very soon. So the iPhone 16 in terms of performance, really, it's very fast and it's very good, and it will have updates for the next 5 to 7 years. Let's talk battery life. Battery life is one of those things that are really dependent on how you use your phone. If you're gonna be constantly gaming, recording videos, or using mobile data, especially on those hotspots, it's really gonna drain. But if you're just using it bluntly, it's gonna take you for a full straight 6 hours. Yeah, and you're gonna drain it, because I know you guys. But for normal everyday use, the iPhone can get you through a typical day. And remember, if you're buying a used or refurbished phone in 2026, battery health becomes extremely important. A phone with 95% battery health and a phone with 78% health are very two different things, because with those two, you get two different experiences. So if you're buying a second hand, don't just look at the price. Check the battery health. Now, let's talk about the biggest reasons why the iPhone 16 remains relevant. Apple Intelligence. And this is important because AI is becoming a much bigger part of how we use our phones today. Because we're talking about things like writing assistants, we're talking about things like image tools, smarter interactions, and other AI-powered features. So you're not just buying a phone that's completely disconnected from where smartphones are headed. The iPhone 16 has the hardware to participate in that ecosystem. Now we go into the biggest question, which is the price. If the iPhone 16 is slightly cheaper than the newer iPhone, you'd probably buy the newer iPhone. Why? Because if you're already spending that much money, you might as well get the newer processor, the newer features, and the longer runway. But if you're finding that the iPhone 16 has got a significant discount, this is where things change. Because remember, we're in August, and September, the iPhone 18 series is coming out, meaning the iPhone 16 prices will drop. So if you're thinking of buying the iPhone 16, this might just be a very good time. So who should buy this iPhone 16? If you're upgrading from an iPhone 11, 12, 13, or an older device, you should absolutely consider it. If you're someone who wants a fast smartphone, great cameras, USB-C charging, modern design, long software support, and Apple Intelligence without paying flagship Pro money, the iPhone 16 makes a lot of sense. But if you already own an iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, just consider just keeping your phone. The upgrade is really not going to do anything revolutionary for most of you people. So, is the iPhone 16 still worth it in 2026? Yes, but there's one condition. The price has to be right. The iPhone 16 is still fast, the cameras are still excellent, the design still looks modern, the battery is solid, you have USB-C, you've got Apple Intelligence support, and most importantly, this phone still has many useful years ahead of it. But if the price difference between the iPhone 16 and the newer model is small, go for the newer model. If you can get the iPhone 16 at a really good deal, that's when I'd seriously consider it. And honestly, that's the beauty of buying an older flagship. You don't necessarily need the newest phone, you need the phone that gives you the most value for your money. So if you're looking for the iPhone 16 in 2026, don't write it off just yet, because it's the newest, not the newest iPhone anymore. It might actually be the smarter buy. But hey, that's just my take. Would you get the iPhone 16 in 2026, or you spend the extra money and get the newest model? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.